Hello everyone, Clacka the Geek here, and welcome to another Clacka Chronicles podcast, episode 52. Now, I'm doing this because I'm currently working on a big, film analysis, like video essay, like a bit like the Reservoir Dogs one. It's on 2 films. I won't say what it is yet, but I'm in the middle of working on it, and it's quite a meaty project. It's quite big, and a lot of time and effort needs to go into it. And also, I've realised that as well this following week I'll be quite busy, so I probably won't be able to work on it. So it's like, I don't want to keep you waiting too long. So I thought I'd get this proper video out to you now, which is just a podcast review on Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I watched the other week. And yeah, I thought I'd give my review of it. And overall, this film is amazing. It's the best DreamWorks movie. It's the second best film to come out of 2022, only behind Everything Everywhere All at Once for me. And it's really close. It's also one of my new favourite animated movies, and just one of my new favourite films in general. So let's get into it. Now, I should say that the first film I'm not a massive fan of, but it's perfectly okay. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10. It's fine. The characters are fine, but it feels a bit sort of standard and samey, like your just generic kids film. Like the adventure is it's fine. They don't really do much with it. They don't really play around with the fairy tale tropes like Shrek did. The final act is a bit clumsy. It's just a film that I didn't really care for. So it's like a sequel to Puss in Boots is like I wasn't expecting much from it until the insanely good reviews started coming from it. I mean, it's in the top 100 on Letterboxd. It's got like a 4.3 stars. I mean, that's impressive. It's like, whoa, this film's way better than Alien and The Shining, and like, what the hell? I need to go see this, and I'm glad I did, because this film is incredible. And let me just say, it's absolutely worth going to the cinema to see this film. I mean, I think in the US, I think it may have already come out on like home media, I don't know. But in the UK, it's only just come out in February, which is stupid. Why is it come out now? I don't know. And either way, right, it's absolutely worth seeing on the big screen, supporting DreamWorks, because, this is stuff that needs to be supported. And I'd also recommend going to this movie with friends or family, or just going to see it with people. It's a great one to watch with people, and yeah, just please go and support this and support DreamWorks so they make more good movies and not more Boss Baby movies or Troll movies and stuff. So the animation takes a page out of Into the Spider-Verse's book, with the kind of comic booky art style, the slowed down frame rate for parts, and the vibrant colours. And let me tell you, the quality of the animation in this film is off the charts. It's absolutely incredible. It definitely feels distinct from other DreamWorks films. It's not as sort of realistic. The other ones kind of go for a sense of realism, trying to do what like kind of Disney and Pixar do with their CG animation. This one very much follows in the footsteps of Spider-Verse and goes for that more stylized approach. It's almost looks 2D in a sense, like with 3D animation. It's just amazing, and the way they kind of slow the frame rate down for the action scenes, like the opening action scene with Puss and the fawn-looking fella, the final one with the wish star. God, the action is absolutely amazing. The fight choreography, it's so good. The colours and the environments are just off the charts. They're just incredible, and it's a feast for the eyes, and I just adore the animation. Now, obviously, great animation, that's awesome, but there's a lot of films where that's kind of the only good element, where the story and characters aren't very good. In this case, the good animation is just a cherry on the top of a fantastic story. So the story, on paper, is quite simple. It's very much like a MacGuffin quest. This wish star lands on Earth, and these different factions trying to get it, and obviously we follow Puss in Boots, who is on his last life. He's used 8 of his 9 lives, and he wants to use the wishing star to regain his lives, but he's with old friend Kitty Softpaws, who was in the first one, and also a new character, Perito, who is a therapy dog, and they, along with the other villains such as the Goldilocks and the Three Bears family and old Jack Horner, they're all trying to race for the wishing star. So it's a simple premise, but it's the way it's done. It's just so great. The first film, I always felt the adventure was over before it started. Here, it's all about the adventure. They have this like magic map, and when they go into the sort of portal and in this different realm, it sort of terraforms on depending on who's holding the map. So you've got bits about with Goldilocks and the Three Bears. There's like their home, and there's whenever Puss or Kitty is holding it and Perito's holding it, like it just changes, and it uses these fantastical concepts to explore the characters, and that's what the best stories do. Another thing I think this film does really well is that it plays with certain fairy tale tropes in a way that the first film didn't really do. Like, I mean, the best example in the film has got to be with the Goldilocks and the Three Bear family, who in this film are like this British crime family who are after the wishing star. And there is something really funny about them. Their very aggressive Britishness and the way you have actors like Ray Winstone and Olivia Colman voicing them is really funny. But there's a really touching story of like the kind of found family thing with Goldilocks essentially being adopted by them, and there's a really nice thing about that with them, and it makes them really likable in the end, and it's a unique kind of villain sort of thing. Oh my god, the villains! This film is like GoldenEye in the sense of like you have a great ensemble of villains who are very varied, but all of them are amazing. So of course I talked about the Goldilocks and the Three Bears family, who are kind of the more sympathetic villains, I guess. But they're still really entertaining to watch. Then you have Big Jack Horner, who he's like that kind of entertaining, campy, but really psychotic villain. Like he's absolutely insane and evil, but he's really funny to watch. And the stuff with like his arsenal of fairy tale weapons, the thing with Jiminy Cricket on his side, and the bit when he goes, "You're horrible, you're an irredeemable monster." That was funny. In fact, Jiminy Cricket was really funny. I like the Jimmy Stewart voice he put on, but he's really funny. But then you've got Death, or the Wolf, who is probably the scariest villain I've ever seen in an animated film. Like, when you hear his whistle, when he approaches the characters, I genuinely just, like, it unnerved me, a teenager who loves horror films. It unnerved me. Yeah, that's the thing. I wouldn't call this film a kid's film, like, in the sense that, because obviously Death is very scary, and I imagine he would probably scare, younger viewers. So it's not a kiddie film in the same way as something like, I don't know, The Boss Baby or Turbo or other like crappy like animated films that kind of reinforce the stereotype of animation is for kids, which it's not. It's a medium to tell great stories, and you can tell great mature stories, and that's what this film does. You've got a scary as hell villain in Death. You've got there are like a couple of like mild swear words like crap in there, and there's that hilarious like bleeping scene with Perito. Oh my god, that nearly had me bursting out laughing in the cinema. But the film also tells a very mature story about anxiety and depression and sort of facing your mortality and living life to the full, and there's some really quite hard-hitting stuff if you read into it. I think the way this film depicts sort of anxiety is really, really quite something. It's absolutely incredible how it does it. I mean, you've got obviously Puss, who is he laughs in the face of death, but then when he comes in that first encounter in the bar, which is incredibly well directed, and how intense it gets and how anxiety inducing it gets for the audience as well, and how Puss realises his mortality and whatnot, the kind of how anxious he is of that, and then he almost does spiral into a depression. I read into it as that when he goes to the cat retirement home where he's eating a lot, he's got rid of the Puss in Boots mantle, he's eating a lot, he's got the beard, the facial hair, and I could kind of read into that as a sort of sending him into a spiral of depression, just feeling aimless, which again was quite hard hitting. But then Perito shows up and he's amazing. And the thing is, Perito is a character that I would not think would be good. I think he would just be. I assumed he would be just an annoying comic relief, but there's a scene with him that made me well up. That I did not expect that. I mean, he's basically established as a therapy dog, and there's a scene later on in the film where that's kind of how he comforts Puss after another encounter with death, and that scene, like, God, that made me well up. It's such a genuine sort of realistic depiction of an anxiety attack, and it's really something. And the whole thing of living his life to the full, obviously for the most of it, he wants he wants his lives back and whatnot, but then spending this life searching for the wish star, and he bonds with Kitty and Perito, and there's like this such beautiful camaraderie between the three of them, and he meets all these different people like Goldilocks and the Three Bears and whatnot, and when in that final confrontation with death, it is unbelievably satisfying just seeing how far he's come and just how brave he is again to stand up to this monster. I can't describe how satisfying that is, that final ending. And that whole message of living life to the full, it's a powerful message that I think resonates with so many people. It's why Ferris Bueller's Day Off is my favourite movie of all time. It's a message that I think we all resonate with, that we all want to aspire to live life to the full. Even, whenever life's getting you down, you want to just go out there and just do, and it's just, man, this film's messages and themes just connected and resonated with me so much, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Kitty as well, Kitty Softpaws. She's really great, and I love her kind of character arc of sort of becoming more open and trusting of people throughout the film, and the main trio of Puss, Kitty, and Burrito, they're just amazing. They're just amazing. This film, that's great. The humour as well. I don't think I've really mentioned that, but the humour is laugh out loud hysterical. Like, it is such a funny film, and there's so many quotable lines, and there's so many memes about this film, but in good memes, and it's just great. Also, Fearless, favourite Fearless Hero, that's stuck in my head. That's an amazing song. It's a jam. Oh man, this film is it's had such an impact on me in the past couple of weeks. I mean, here's a funny story. So the night I went to see it, and when I went to sleep that night, I actually had a dream that wasn't explicitly about the film, but it was because of the film that I dreamt about this. It was basically a dog coming up to me and like sort of comforting me in the same way that Burrito does it, in that the kind of same like positive ball of energy sort of way. And even though it wasn't explicitly about the film, it was nice to know why that dream happened. It was nice to have some clarity, and it was nice to just come out of the cinema just feeling good. It's like Top Gun Maverick. It's like, it was nice to come out of the cinema just feeling good about life, and just, oh man, like, please go and watch this. It would mean the world if you went and supported this film. This film is a masterpiece, and I don't usually give 10 out of 10s too often, especially to new movies that came out, but this film deserves a 10. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have you seen Puss in Boots: The Last Wish? Let me know in the comments below if you have, what you think of it. If it's anything but good, then that would genuinely surprise me. That, honestly, I can't imagine many people disliking this film. I really can't. Like, this is... please just go watch this movie. It'll make your day. Right, that's it for me. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, because that would make my day. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.